Alright, you welcome to another awesome episode of Ashivas playing on your number one online gospel radio station and your online gospel TV station, Wisdom Gate Radio and Wisdom Gate Television. And we started a series. We began to talk about dyslexia, and it was an awesome and an amazing time. I tell you, you don't want to miss that for any reason. You can actually go to our YouTube channel to view it and see some of the things we talked about. We had Mr. Kolade with us the last time, Mr. Kolade Adesanya. Yeah, thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Thank you so much for being around today again. It's very, very awesome having you around. And one of the things that we established, one of the things we talked about was the fact that dyslexia is actually real. It's not something that it's not just about myths, it's not just fables, it's not just something people just imagine or think about. I know that the education on dyslexia is not so much per se, especially in this part of the world. But you know, he was able to expose a lot of things to us, and he also talked about his own personal experience as a dyslexic, meaning that he was not just talking about something he read on Google, but he actually talked about the things the things our eyes have seen, our ears have heard, our hands have handled, you know. And today we are going to be continuing from where we stopped. And one of the things that he was trying to point out the last time we talked about it was the fact that dyslexia is not something that is totally negative in connotation, even though many of us might actually see dyslexia as something that is negative. So I am sincerely wondering what exactly is positive about dyslexia, and that's why we have Mr. Kolade with us again today. Mr. Kolade, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on the interview once again.
Thank you very much. Once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity of bringing me here once again, and it's been an awesome opportunity and a privilege to actually come online and talk about this subject that very few people know a whole lot about.
Yes.
Now, the positive aspect of dyslexia. Maybe as someone who has learned how to manage it.
Okay.
I tend to see just more of the positivity.
And I think I noticed that you focus more on the positive side,
yes, than the negative, because yes, when I was passing through the negative challenge, it was serious. But the positive side of dyslexia. Let me start with this. I met a lady, a young lady who is also in the forefront of this campaign, dyslexia campaign, and we talked yesterday, and the first thing I noticed about her was her accent. The accent looked like that is from we call it Queen's English.
Like someone that has spent a lot of time outside the country.
So I said, are you from Nigeria? He said, yes, I'm from Nigeria. In fact, she told me her name is Oladoyan. I was like, wow. So how did you have your language this so refined? She said, because she has dyslexia, that's how I knew she also has dyslexia. That she had to learn, she could not recognize letters and this thing easily, so she has to take pain to learn the phonics, learn everything around it,
and learn the real pronunciation.
Yes. So while mastering it, it just kind of gelled, and
it became something that she got used to.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's something we have to understand about dyslexia. There's something we have to understand about dyslexia, and it is that now the other time I was talking about the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere.
Yes, I remember.
Now let me also put it this way: the left hemisphere does two things majorly. The first is that it helps in decoding and recognizing of letters and things that are being taught. The second is that it helps in storage. That's where we have long-term memory. That's where the long-term memory it's about. Then the second aspect, the second aspect is that it helps thought this thing. Then the right hemisphere actually deals more with innate understanding of the concept thoughts
Hmm.
and the application. That's what you call creativity. Creativity is ability to pick up. Are you guys getting what I'm saying
Yes,
now?
I
Ability
get.
to
I
pick
got.
up
I
what
got
you are
that.
taught,
Hmm.
understand it, understand the nitty gritty of it, then apply it. The point of application is what people see and call creativity.
Hmm.
So don't forget that I said that the dyslexic person starts using the creative aspect of
Before.
before. So the confusion is they are trying to be creative about what they don't understand. They are trying to, the creative aspect is very active. The learning aspect is
Is
less active.
less
So
active.
there is confusion. But once they are able to, once they are helped and they are helped and they find a way around learning, whatever pass through to whatever stays to the creative aspect, the right hemisphere tends to produce the creative, a lot of creative outputs.
Hmm.
And that's why you see a whole lot of creative ingenuity among the dyslexic. And that's why that when you teach a dyslexic language now, if he gets it, it's going to reflect in the way he speaks.
Hmm.
And if it doesn't reflect in the way he speaks, it's going to reflect in the way he writes.
Hmm.
The creative writing, some of them may not be able to actually speak fluently. A good number of them may not be able to speak fluently. But when you see them write or construct a poem,
Hmm.
you really wonder, was this I started constructing poems as far back as when I was in SS1,
Wow.
and to date I still construct poems. I still write poems. Now that's why you see uh um most of the inventors, 80% of inventors are dyslexic.
Hmm.
A lot of them have reading and writing problem, learning challenges while they.
Can you mention maybe one, two, three people popularly dyslexic?
I can mention a whole lot of them. Let me start
Okay.
with entrepreneurial and the rich, Forbes richest list.
Okay.
Let's start mentioning the current richest man in the world now is Elon Musk.
Yes.
He's publicly dyslexic.
Wow.
He has come. He keeps talking about dyslexia. He keeps making everybody in the world to know that he's dyslexic. The only person we don't know about his dyslexia status, and I want to think it's not, is Jeff Bezos.
Okay.
Of
Amazon.
Of Amazon. I don't think he's dyslexic. He has not. Said anything. Then we'll talk about Warren Buffett.
Hmm.
He's dyslexic. We talk about Bill Gates.
Hmm.
He's dyslexic.
Wow.
We talk about this other person, Mark Zuckerberg
Really?
of Facebook.
Wow.
He's dyslexic. Just
So it means that there is a higher level of intelligence that comes to people that are dyslexic.
yes.
Even though maybe sometimes when they are much younger, they might have learning difficulties.
Yes.
Hmm.
Now, the bad thing about it is that only 30% of dyslexics
Okay.
that are not helped.
So it means that the only time that these people are able to come to their full potential is when they are being helped.
When they are being helped.
So that's what we should talk about now.
Yeah. So some people may scale through without being helped.
Hmm.
Find a way to motivate themselves, and then, but you see a whole lot of people not being helped.
Hmm.
And record shows us that 70% of a record shows that 70% of U.S. federal prison are dyslexic.
Wow. I didn't get. I think you should repeat that again.
A record show tells us that 70% of U.S. federal prison mates are dyslexic.
Wow. So meaning that there's a tendency for people to should I use the word commit crime or find themselves in jail
One of the things
if
that
they are dyslexic.
moves around dyslexic, if it is not helped, is crime.
Hmm.
One thing is that they will want to voice out the creativity that is in them.
And so they might explore that creativity
Yeah,
in the
in
negative way.
I am one person that believe that this Evans,
The kidnapper
the kidnapper
in Nigeria.
Do you know he never finished? He never went more than primary 6.
Possibly
No.
because it's
But hey, we
dyslexic.
don't know that.
Yeah, because we don't have,
know that.
and you know, a lot of time because some of this information are not available
Available
readily in this part of the
But
world.
when I speak Evans,
Okay.
a primary 6 older,
who could don't go further beyond.
further.
Now, so will that justify crime?
No, he doesn't. But
Okay.
what I'm trying to say is that look at the ingenuity he could produce. When I read about his crimes, I just told myself only a dyslexic person using the positive thing for negative. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? I told myself the atrocities this man is committing could not be done by any other person but an evil genius.
So what I think I'm getting from all of this now is that if you find someone that is dyslexic,
Okay,
for the good of the society,
you have to help them.
they have to be helped. You can't just leave them to themselves,
There are a lot of things
because if you don't help them, they will probably help themselves, and God helps you if that help is a wrong form of help.
Form of help.
No, I was talking about the fact that people that are dyslexic needs to be helped.
Yes. And I'm trying to explain that the best way to help them, the first thing we need to do to help them is that we have to know. When we don't know a whole lot of things, we
The place of knowledge.
yeah, the place of knowledge, we harm each other when we don't know each other. That's one thing. The society has to change its perspective about the way we approach dyslexic people, about the way attitude we give to them. Don't forget, in my story, I told you that I changed environment. And there's an
Yes.
environment I didn't tell you I changed.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you now. I said I gave my life to Christ at that period of change coincided with the time I gave my life to Jesus.
Wow.
Which means I joined a new church. Now, as I joined a new church, my pastor from the church came to visit me.
Oh,
So I was like, wow, this great pastor, he's a great man. He's a great man. So okay, I know he's a very great man. Came to visit me in my house, I was surprised. And then the old church didn't see me. They didn't see me as someone who had learning challenges. I'd always
So they saw you as someone who was great. No,
at first a natural person.
okay, as a normal person.
So I was
okay.
given a normal level playing ground.
Unlike where you were coming from, where they already saw you as someone that had a learning challenge.
That was the way they see me. So now I came to the church. I came to a new class. I repeated to a new class. I joined a new lesson. Everywhere was new.
So I think if there's one thing I'm getting from all these things that you are saying, I will say that dyslexic people need an enabling environment.
That's
Not necessarily the change of environment per se, but what they need is an environment where people are not looking at them as challenge. Because the moment you move from an environment where you were considered as having a challenge, and you move to an environment where nobody was aware of your challenge,
nobody cared about.
cared about it. So all of a sudden, the big change happened. But if you had stayed in that previous environment, then maybe nothing good would have come out.
I would have been what I was. I would have been what I was. I joined the teenage group. Then one day, they asked me to come and lead prayer, and I didn't know I knew Bible that much. And then I led prayer, and everybody was wow, 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 wow. So I moved from natural states now to being
The seed of
celebrated.
greatness.
Are you getting what I'm trying to say now?
Mm.
Then in class, teachers will ask questions, and I raise my hand. I'm not graded by what I write now. I'm graded by what I've stored in my brain, what I was continually reading. So I raised my hand and answered. And then over time, every teacher will say, "Be like this boy now."
You became the model.
I became the model. So even in class, I became celebrated. When I got to school, when the school eventually resumed, I'd learned a lot. So in the new class, I was already leading. So teachers would always want to. So you see that because I left that, but I cannot say that every dyslexic person will have to change environment. So if a dyslexic person cannot change environment, then we have to change the environment. We have to educate the society that please don't see this person as challenged. Don't see them, love them, believe in, focus on the greatness that is in them, and help them see that there is no difference between them and the other child. That they are as great as, and we must be very careful not to overstate the importance of dyslexia over the non-dyslexic, because every child is special, every child is unique, every child can learn. And that's why we believe everybody can learn.
Wow. Okay, so let's get to some of the specifics of how dyslexic can be helped. Let's get to some specifics.
Then the second thing we want, this is the method of teaching.
Okay.
That talks to teachers now, most of teachers. There is something we call I'm going to talk about two things now.
Okay.
The multisensory teaching. Multisensory teaching. You see, there have been studies have shown us that there are over 8 modes of learning, but there are 4 celebrated modes of learning. There is the auditory mode of learning, where the teacher is speaking, and the students are the audience, and they are learning. They are seeing, they are hearing what the teacher is saying. That's called auditory.
Okay.
That's the method we most use. That's the teacher to this thing. Then there is the audiovisual, pictorial, where there is you are learning via either you are watching a movie, you are seeing a picture, you are seeing pictures, you are watching a video. That's also a method of learning. Some people tend to thrive in audiovisual. Others tend to thrive in pictorial, in auditory. Then there is what is called the read-write. Some people cannot learn, like for example my wife. When you're teaching my wife anything and she has not picked her pen
to write it
down, she has not started learning. Once she's writing,
then you know she's learning.
She's learning.
She's getting this thing.
Then we have other people, we call them the kinetic energy.
Okay.
So just so you know, kinetic energy is the active energy. So the kinetic energy is the kinetic method of learning is that learning where you have to is the participatory form of learning.
It involves activities.
I remember there was time I was trying to teach some pupils, and I was teaching them bearing and distance. I was teaching them elevation and depression. I thought they didn't understand. I said, well, everybody, let's go out. Look up. Look down. Look up. Look down. Okay, as you are looking up, that is elevation.
Wow.
As you are looking down, okay, from the point of that fence, look to the pole. They set their gaze on the fence, and then they lift it up on the pole. By the time we went back to the classroom, they got what I was saying.
Wow.
That was participatory. And you know, most of the times you see some children, they take them to football school, and then the teacher first of all take them to the field and say, I want to teach you about leadership. Okay, you are the captain, and then he uses the football scene to lecture. That's called kinesthetic form of learning. Combining all this form of learning is the fifth, which is the best. It's called the multi-sensory learning. And when we're talking beyond behind camera the other time, you mentioned the scripture that sums that multi-sensory learning. That's from
the things our eyes have
yes,
seen, our ears have heard, and our hands have handled. Wow.
That will deliver. John was telling us that if you have not seen it, if you have not heard it, and if you have not handled it, you cannot understand it. And if you cannot understand it, you cannot pass it. So that's a summary of multisensory learning.
Wow. So there's a need for us to begin to adjust our approach to learning and imparting learning, especially to people that are dyslexic. The moment we can be able to do this very well and effectively, it becomes easy for us to help and help those that are dyslexic. Now, I think I have one other question for you.
I said two approach.
Okay.
The second approach is what we call the inclusive society or the inclusive classroom.
Okay.
Over the years, people have believed that, okay, fine, take a dyslexic person to a special class. You can do it. People do it. Take them to a special class. Teach them what? Specially. But sometimes it can create problem. You can be telling the child that is negatively special. I don't know if you guys.
So why can't I be with my mate? Why do I have to be in a different class?
Because so we're now talking about what is called inclusive society, but narrowed down to education, we call it inclusive classroom. There are a whole lot of it, like in Copenhagen, in 1995. In 1995, in Copenhagen, UNESCO met, and then they decided that we must do what is called inclusive society. Inclusive society is a society where you give every element of the society opportunity to thrive. And now from that we got what is called what? Inclusive what? Class. Now inclusive class is where you adapt your teaching to the styles of everybody in the class. Now you don't just teach everybody the same way. You understand that this is slower and this is faster, and then you more like you give them preferential treatment. Not like you give them preferential treatment, but you like, okay, fine, you can learn faster. Then you can, like a very good example, you repeat the instruction to one person 2 times because you know he's not going to get it. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
And then to one person it is 1. So there are methods, and those are some of the things we tell teachers. Those are some of the things we train teachers on in our training, that's at international learning.
And I think it's important that we talk about this training aspect that you do. We'll be right back.
Mekus.
Again, my God.
Good to see you again. A long time. What's the problem now? Why you look so bothered? What are you listening to?
I've been trying to listen to this radio station for like 5 minutes now, and the contents are not inspiring.
Really?
It's just, I don't understand. Must it be on Sundays we can get good content?
No. It's not only on Sundays. There's actually a radio station that you can listen to 247. And always they have the right content that will take you from where you are to where you are supposed to be.
What's the name of this radio station?
Week Radio.
Wow, what's the frequency? Is it 94?
It's not about frequency. It's an online radio station.
So how do I get it?
You just go. Yes, check your app store.
Okay.
You download. Just click on Week Radio. You will see it. Download it. Or you can go to their website
Yeah.
and download Week Radio, and you can listen live as well.
Wow,
That's it now. That's it.
Let it download.
Let me tell you, there are
Yeah.
many programs on that radio station, and it's
Wow.
247.
Wow.
Okay, let me give you an example. I know one of their presenters. His name is FZ Talk. If you listen to his program, always very interesting. Kingdom Mandate to Achievers Airplane. I know another one. His name is The Praise.
Wow.
He's on it. I think that one is Praise and Passion.
Wow. That's
I'm telling you,
wow, that's a
spiritual
way to-
songs. You have
Wow.
been always motivated and charged.
Wow.
So just listen to it. Listen now, you will see what I'm saying.
Wow.
I told you. See, don't listen alone. Make sure you make all your friends and see.
Wow,
Let them also listen.
you can share it.
I'm telling you.
Wow, let me share it.
You can even check them out on YouTube. They are on YouTube. Yes, just Week Radio. Everything is said. You understand? My brother. That's it. Now that's
I
what
give you how much this information. Always let me
Don't worry. Always now. Always. No problem. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you.
content. Wow, this is lovely.
We're talking about our training.
Yes.
So the first thing is we do awareness seminar. Then we do
Dyslexia awareness seminar. Okay.
Then after that we do like a testing, dyslexia test. Although we normally like to get to schools and say let's just test everybody. If the school is so interested, let's run the test for everybody. But some maybe because of the cost, we can just give selected this thing, selected test for people. Then we have what is called intervention. Intervention, teachers can choose to be an intervention expert. Then we can give them intensive training for that. Then we could have access to the children and give them some. But that we want to find at that because we cannot be here and there. So what we really want is teachers to show interest so that we can, at economic cost, we can train them on how to actually handle this. And in UK they are actually advocating that in every school there has to be at least 2 or 3 dyslexic specialists, so that in rare cases we could always take them to the person, help work with this person. And that's where we should be going to as a nation, that every school is mandated to have a dyslexic specialist, so that if there is any problem you can always take him to. And so that's what we are encouraging teachers to come for our intervention course. So intervention course. So the first is awareness seminar. Next is test. Then the other one is, then we are also planning on going on mass media. Just let everybody know, going to churches. We want churches to give us audience, to call us for a seminar. Church is the place, and church and mosque, not just church now, they are the place where you meet both teachers, children and parents together. Those are the 3 cardinal important things that need to know, people that need to know about dyslexia: the teachers, the parents and the children. And you find these 3 classes in our religious houses. And that's what we're asking for this thing. We don't actually charge. We have not started charging. Maybe we'll not even charge. And the reason is that we want everybody to know, but we just ask them to support
what
we are doing.
Wow. Okay, so I think it's important at this point to mention how people can contact you, maybe on social media, phone contact, and things like, because I believe there will be somebody who is watching this right now and is saying, I would love to invite you, I would love you to be a part of or I would love to be a part of what you are doing. How can people contact you?
We first of all, our number is 08105953565.
I think you should call that number slowly, even though it's displaying on your screen right now. You can call the number again.
081
yes
05953565.
Okay, you got that number.
So that's my direct number.
Okay.
And there is 091 35 200 550.
Okay.
There's that. And the third number is 080 544 6222.
Okay.
Any of those numbers,
Somebody would definitely
somebody will
pick the
definitely
call
pick
and
the
attend
call
to you.
and attend to you.
Okay.
And so that's that. And then we can be mailed. You can mail me directly, tendershoot.
Okay.
Tendershoot_KSA at
Okay.
gmail.com.
Tendershoot underscore
No.
Tendershoot
cornerstone
cornerstone KSA. All right.
at gmail.com. That's my personal distance. Then there is Tendershoot Learning Outreach 01 at
Okay.
gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
And then there is Africa Dyslexia Project.
Hmm.
Africa Dyslexia Project at gmail.com. Every of these email addresses will actually you'll be communicating with us directly. We also have a page on Facebook. We call
Okay.
it Tidy Afrilen. That's Tendershoot Institute of Dyslexia.
Hmm.
Afrilen. Tidy Afrilen. Go there. We have a whole lot of learning materials there.
Wow.
We're working on. So that's our Facebook page. You can go there. You can like. You can comment. You
And when you like, you definitely have access to other information
other
that will be on that
information
social
that-
media platform subsequently.
yeah.
Wow. Well, it's been an interesting time sincerely talking about dyslexia, and I must confess that it's been quite educative. A final word from Mr. Kolade.
Well, for every parent, know fully well that for every 5 children you meet, and it's not just to parents,
Hmm.
for both parents and teachers, for every 5 children you meet, one of them is likely to be dyslexic.
Hmm.
And to everybody out there who are dyslexic, I want them to know that they are great people. They are
Hmm.
enviable people. Don't look down on yourself. Don't have low self-esteem. Always believe you can do. And it's also to non-dyslexic people, greatness is always by choice.
Wow. It's been an interesting time, I must confess, and my takeaway point is that greatness is by choice. So don't discriminate dyslexic people. If you have one, ensure you help them, ensure you support them. And this is where we are going to be drawing the curtain. Remember, this is Wig Radio and with Zongbe Television. Our vision is to reach the world with good news. And like we always say, the good news you need to hear to take you from where you are to where you ought to be is what we are committed to bringing your way on a daily basis. Until we come your way again some other time, I want you to stay blessed. My name is Olawale Perfect.